y'all. Shout out to all my workers, my members, subscribers, viewers. Hey, girl. Oh, I thought you were busy. Okay. All right. I see. Y'all, come on in. Y'all, rethinking Naziyah Harris case. Who are the camouflage suspects mentioned in the closing argument? Who are these people? See, prosecutor avoid those suspects. He's prosecutor trying to protect those suspects. In his closing argument. Now, y'all, late nighters, y'all, come on in. Yeah, y'all. The defense proved to y'all that Jarvis didn't act alone. Allegedly now. But I'm just going by what I hear. God, I forgot to get one more thing. I'm putting it out there before y'all hear about it, okay? Who are they? Hiding, ducking and hiding and ducking and hiding. Trying not to be seen with dark colors. Who are these people that the defense Jarvis Butts protecting, and why is he protecting them? How long is he going to protect them? Is a particular witness he's talking. When Jarvis is sitting in that prison. He's sitting in that jail house on that hard bench, on that hard little mattress. And he's thinking. And he thinking, how much time I got? How much time they gonna give me? Something tells me Now this is Naziyah doing this, y'all. Naziyah doing this. I ain't even. Let me tell you something. I one thinking about Naziyah tonight, but she got big. She punched me today, and I ignored her. But she want us to go back here. She want us here, y'all. Naziyah want us here because she don't understand why Job is going down by himself. Is he going down by himself? Is he? How late he gonna wait? Now, Naziyah, you supposed to be in the bed. You supposed to be asleep, girl. I know I don't do highway patrol every night. That don't mean that. Okay. I'm gonna put it like this. When is he gonna talk? When is he gonna tell? When is he gonna talk? When is he gonna break down? He hasn't broken down yet, y'all. When are you gonna do it? In which court? In which court? He didn't do it here. Because that's not what he promised. He don't gain weight in there. He don't put on his weight because he ain't doing the street stuff no more. This is gonna give him a time to think. Because he in this closing argument, if I stop this computer and start it back over, I ain't gonna even talk. I'm gonna stop this computer and I'm gonna go back. When I go back to a point, listen, that means I pay attention. Now, y'all, I got a problem with the information that is she the head district attorney? That lady, Miss Worthy? She a boss. She bossy. She wants y'all to stop talking about this case. She wants y'all to leave this case alone. So we're going to listen to this closing. Now, watch out for that prosecutor. She's going to have to take her turn to speak. She's trying to speak fast. I don't know if she's doing it because of the prelim. And the defense attorney is dragging her voice too, as well. They don't want y'all to hear because they trying to talk slick and fast. So we're going to listen. And I'm going to stop this computer. And I'm going to bag it back. Anytime I go backwards. When I go start it over, I heard something that I missed the first time. It's always something telling me, something keep messing with me with this case. At first, she wasn't messing with me. First, Naziyah was minding her business. She wasn't messing with me. I was trying to do other stuff to keep from thinking about her. But she kept on messing with me. I just didn't tell y'all. She want my attention. So my main focus on getting these girls justice, not a complete justice, just like her cousin said. These they people. These people. I ain't trying to find out nothing else but when each job is gonna say something. Now I'm gonna tell you, with that man attorney, he gonna make Jarvis talk. Because when the aunt was on the stand, he had all ears open. I don't know what they waiting on. I don't know what they waiting on. I don't know. But if Jarvis don't talk, if Jarvis don't want to do it, then it ain't gonna happen. He under somebody command. Somebody owe some money. God, this thing so deep. God, Lee. I don't know where that just came from, y'all. I don't know where that came from. But I have to share what I think. Not I got to share what keep coming in my mind. Okay. But everything I say, like it's allegedly because I don't know. It just come in my mind. Usually when stuff get in my mind like that, I have to share it with y'all. And this is the morning. I ain't never guess I had. I used to come in late to talk about the site. But now, this ain't late for me. But anywho, let's go. They taking a break, y'all. Part that dude right there. Woo. Look at his attorney going behind him. See, I'm gonna tell y'all something. He gonna his moment got to shine. Cause Jarvis, once they put that pressure on Jarvis butts, when that pressure start, when they go to court, we ain't gonna hear it. But when they go to court and that pressure start coming on hitting on him like that, while he got that mask on, he gonna talk to that man. That attorney, cause that attorney kind of close to him, and I like what he doing. He trying to get Jarvis to tell. He involved now. He definitely involved. He definitely. But something else went wrong. Something else happened. Something else is in my way. Something else is in my vision that something just ain't right. Just like Keith Sweat said. Somebody else is in my vision. And I've been telling y'all it's 3 people. I've been seeing 2 women and a young boy. I've been seeing 3 people, two women. I don't know them, y'all. I can't see their face. I can't. Let me skip it a little bit, y'all, because everybody taking a break. Who are these people? I can't see them. I can't see the people. One name keep coming to me, but I don't want to bring her name up. But I see some people. This young boy, I ain't gonna tell y'all who he keep telling me he is. I'm gonna keep that to myself. My vision see him good. But the two ladies, I see one, but I can't see the other one. I see the boy and I see the lady, but I don't see the other lady. One of them was driving. The one who can't drive was driving the blue car. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. The one who was driving the blue car. The one who was driving the blue car is involved. They can't drive, y'all. Mm.
A Kaiser Permanente Medicare Medicaid.
Lord, I'm so tired of seeing this commercial. Y'all, do Jarvis think he's getting out of jail? Do Jarvis think that for some reason he got confidence that He's gonna win this case. He might not.
Yes, Judge, we are. Thank you. And before I get to the real issue on the homicide charge, I'm going to take care of a few preliminary matters. It is the people's intent to increase count 3, which is currently criminal sexual conduct second degree, to criminal sexual conduct first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. We have the defendant's birthday on the record, and that would be based on the testimony of the one minor witness that testified, as well as Cordell Wright's testimony. The minor witness testified that it happened at the old shop, and when Ms. Ripley was asking questions, she identified that as being the location. Cordell Wright testified back in November. Yes, Judge, we are. Thank you. And before I get to the real issue on the homicide charge, I'm going to take care of a few preliminary matters. It is the people's intent to increase count 3, which is currently criminal sexual conduct second degree, to criminal sexual conduct first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. We have the defendant's birthday on the record, and that would be based on the testimony of the one minor witness that testified, as well as Cordell Wright's testimony. The minor witness testified that it happened at the old shop, and when Ms. Ripley was asking questions, she
Okay. Y'all, he just told y'all something. The old shop. The old the old shop. Not the corner shop. Corner 2000 corner. The old shop. And you know who the old shop belongs to. You know who the old shop belongs to, y'all.
that as being a location. Cordell Wright testified back in November that they didn't move from that shop, which was at East Warren and Neff in the city of Detroit, until May or June. Based on Naziyah's birthday, which is in her medical records, at that time she would have been 12 years old, and the minor witness testified clearly describing an act of penetration, specific penis to anal opening. With respect to the criminal sexual, child sexually abusive activity, that would be based on the text messages, as well as the minor's testimony as well. Combining those two things satisfies the elements of those charges. However, going to count 1 in murder in the first degree premeditated, I would like to go through and put some of the pieces together. And we are sitting here today, or standing here today in court on January 9th, 2025, which is 1 year, almost to the minute, the last time Naziyah was seen on a camera in the city of Detroit, which is on the screen now. The last time that she was seen was on January 9th, 2024 at 2:56, getting off of the bus at 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall and walking down Bedford. She was walking towards what she didn't know at the time would be Jarvis Butts and her ultimate murder by him. We take that moment in time and then go to Cordell Wright's testimony, where he testified that they picked Naziyah up on their way back to their shop at 9000 Connor, and they proceeded with her to that location. We have Jarvis Butts' sister's testimony, Tijuana Butts, who did say that she saw a young girl with a very descriptive Naziyah departed for Ypsilanti. We have Sergeant O'Rourke's testimony as to his cell phone locations based on cell tower information and the historical call detail records, which placed them consistent going out to Ypsilanti. And then we have Cordell's testimony getting them back to the shop to lay some more on the testifying in Ypsilanti with Cordell and Jarvis. Cordell, as we know, testified that he had back to that is the last time that anyone who is not Jarvis Butts would see Naziyah Harris alive. From the shop, we proceed out to the Park Crest Inn, where Jarvis Butts checked into a hotel at 9:30 p.m. and Sergeant O'Rourke's testimony.
Okay. All right, y'all. What's the boy name? Cordell gone at 9. Okay. Cordell was gone at 9 o'clock. Jarvis went over to the hotel at 9:30. Now, come on now, y'all. Now, Naziyah was alive. So I want to ask y'all a question. Be honest. And I want you to think about it. What was Naziyah? Where was Naziyah? Where was she? Sorry about that, Count. Where was Naziyah Harris? Was she at his house? Was she at home? Oh, where was she, y'all? Well, she was with Jarvis. Okay. She was with Jarvis at 9 o'clock. Jarvis done had that girl all night. And they over there sleep. They sleep. How much just they sleep. Where was Naziyah? At 9:30. Where was Naziyah at 9:30, y'all? Where was she at 9:30? Golly. Because she was alive. She was alive, y'all. Naziyah was alive. In 30 minutes, what could have happened to her in 30 minutes? In 30 minutes, y'all, be honest. Y'all humans, y'all grown. What could have happened to her in 30 minutes? 30 minutes. He went over there to the hotel. He went to the hotel. Where was she? She got to be somewhere. Where was she at? Was she at the shop? Where was she, y'all? This the point right here. She was he went to the hotel. She was alive. Wait, let me put it. She was alive at 9. The cameras, they have cameras over there at the they got cameras over there at the hotel. They didn't see Naziyah. Okay, I just want y'all to know that. Think about it, y'all. And where was Naziyah at 30 minutes? 30 minutes. Where was Naziyah at? From 9 to 9:30. Cordell said she was at the shop with him. She was there and alive when he left at 9. Okay, that 30 minutes where did she go? Because he was at Parkcrest Hotel, but the camera didn't see nobody with him. He quickly went in there and showered and did whatever. I don't know what Jarvis did in that hotel. I don't even know why he went to the hotel. Make me think who at that hotel that he knows. Do you have a girl there? Okay. I'm just thinking, y'all. Because he left the hotel and went somewhere. Okay. Let me see what he gonna say. God, I ain't seen East Bay in a while.
In the area of that 20,000 Harper address at around midnight till early in the next morning on the 10th.
So early in the morning on the 10th, he don't skip all over that girl knew he don't skip all over the place. So midnight till the early in the morning on the 10th, he was at that 20,000. Is it 20,000? He was at the shop. So did he let that? Did he? What? I'm still trying to figure out. Did he leave her there at the shop because they do have a mattress there? But his phone. Okay, at that midnight he did on the 10th. But where is Naziyah on the 9th? Is she at his house? Is she asleep at the shop? Where is she?
Using the data that you see on the screen in those times. Recapping January 9th is the last time that we have any sort of communication from Naziyah. There was, if you look at those messages that Sergeant Jones went through and read, just between Naziyah and Jarvis, there was consistent and constant communication up until January 9th. There's also no messages from Jarvis after Naziyah goes missing on the 9th.
Okay. So on the 9th, he no longer messaged him. Y'all, something keep putting a woman there with me. A woman. I ain't gonna tell you this other woman who y'all gonna be shocked. I ain't gonna call her name. Golly. Golly. I gotta keep that to myself. So if Naziyah stopped texting, Job, what is he talking about? Job is on the 9th. Naziyah didn't have a phone, no way. Naziyah didn't have a phone anyway. So when she was texting him, the last text was from the school using her a computer or either a friend phone or either a computer, one of the two. She don't have a phone to text anyone. So why he said the last text, okay? She don't have a phone to text anyone. She don't have no form of communication.
Seeing where she is, trying to find her, trying to help, as anyone should do at that time, her family located her. There's no messages to her phone, to that text now account from Jarvis Butts' phone. Her legal guardian and grandmother, Annette Harris, has not seen any social media posts of the OIC.
Y'all not gonna see a social media. Y'all listen to the game. You ain't gonna see no social media posts. because at that time the aunt was pregnant. Now, at the time aunt lost her baby, she was focusing on the allegedly focusing on the loss of her baby, not Naziyah baby. That don't sound right. Of course, she's not going to be on social media because she didn't go home. She's hiding. I mean, at that time, y'all. Right now, she just unalive somewhere. They did something to her. I ain't saying that, but I'm not saying she alive at all. I'm just saying that social media thing he talking about. She ain't got no phone to be dancing on unless y'all was gonna get her his phone. If Java wasn't intended on doing anything to her, she could have used his phone to do TikToks. But if she used his phone to do TikTok, then she'll be in trouble. They'll know where she is. Someone know where she is, y'all, where she was. Someone knew.
Jones has not seen anything for a total of 1 year now. The Lieutenant George Harris, who was involved in the investigation in the first month, didn't see anything that he saw from social media or text now after the night. Jarvis Butts on the night, we know, borrowed Latricia Johnson's car overnight, which was unusual.
And who drove her car? Whoever drove Latricia car, the blue car, it's not a driver. And allegedly, Naziyah was in that car. Naziyah was in that car. And the strange thing is, why are the glasses out? Why the glasses not in her book bag? See, y'all got to pick up stuff what's going on. Why does she have her glasses on? I don't need my glasses on until I need them on to read. Why is Naziyah glasses out her book bag? Period. Why is the glasses out the book bag? She didn't have them on in the rain when she was walking. She'd have had it on sitting in the car. Why is her glasses out that book bag? And in that blue car. Did she take it out to put it on to see the drive? Allegedly? Is she farsighted, nearsighted? Where she has to put on her glasses to drive and see?
And then again, on the 10th or 11th. We know that Naziyah's glasses were found in that car sometime after the 10th or 11th when Latricia Johnson was at that shop and Jarvis Butts snatched.
After the 10th or the 11th, now, y'all. This is very important. Did she need the glasses to see to drive the car? That's very important. Is it trying to tell us that Naziyah was driving? Why is the glasses in the back seat? Who else was driving that car? I know a lot of grown women can't drive. My aunt didn't drive till she was like 70-some year old. Because we don't age fast in our family. But why is the glasses out the book bag? Why is the glasses in the back seat? She don't have them on when she do her TikTok.
Out of her hand. From the Park Crest Inn from January 9th, we go out to 7 Mile and Burke. This is deep.
See, no, he jumped from Park Crest to 7 miles, 7 birds. He jumped from Parkcrest. He jumped from the hotel to 7 Mile.
By far the most important location in this case because we know that the defendant spent from 11:40 p.m. on the 10th to 1:34 a.m. nearly 2 hours.
So on the 10th, this is weird. Okay, he getting to the point where the defendant spent 11:40 p.m. on the 10th at 1:34 a.m. from 11 p.m. I bet something happened to Naziyah on the 10th and not the 9th. Allegedly. I don't think nothing happened to Naziyah on the 9th. Because the reason why I say that, y'all, because the 10th, he looked like somebody met with him. I don't know. It just seemed like somebody else in his thing. Somebody else in this thing. Because, see, they going by his location from his phone. But somebody else is in this thing, y'all, because you can't pick point where Naziyah at. Did they meet up? Did he meet up with somebody out there at 7 Mile from 11:40 to 1:34 a.m.? Because they out there for a long time. What are they doing? What's going on? For 2 hours. And when he left Parkcrest, he went over there. Did somebody meet him? But think about the blue car now. Jarvis could have been okay. Come on, hotel. Come on, hotel. You got to tell me what kind of car Jarvis was in when he was at the hotel. Please tell me what color car Jarvis was in when he was at that hotel. Y'all they got to know that information, y'all. They have to know this information. That hotel would tell me that he was in that blue car. Jarvis know how to drive, y'all. Jarvis know how to drive.
In that area, in that wooded area where the Rouge River runs through. And to give, this is from the slideshow of the scene photos that were taken at 7 Mile and Bird. This is the area where it's the people's theory. Jarvis Butts did at least one of two things. Either killed Naziyah at 7 Mile and Bird, but at the very least, dumped her body in this location.
He didn't dump her body over there. Because they didn't find her body. Unless y'all didn't thoroughly look. But y'all said y'all did a search. So y'all didn't find nobody. He ain't dump her body over there. Her body ain't there. He spent 2 hours out there because they was talking, and they tried to. Well, they can't put the clothes and the body in the same place. That's what they didn't want to do. And then where's her? They found a coat now, y'all. They found that coat in that shop. They found her rug rack coat with the fur around at the top at that shop.
this because of the evidence that was found there, specifically the black hoodie, which you see in this photo here, as well as the pink bodysuit and the shoes that we confirmed.
Now this is just weird right here. This right here, this part right here, this scene right here is weird. Why is that the shirt jacket right there? Why is the onesie way over there? Why? Look where the jacket at, y'all. The main idea is the mine. Why is the mine out there at 7 Mile Birch? Who know? I know they know about the area because they from out there, but a person don't want you to see the person that been abducted. He want to put it out in blind spot. Somebody playing games, y'all. I still don't understand. When he was at Park Crest, where was she? Because he didn't go to the shop to get her. He didn't go back to the shop to get her. Then you got a camera at Sicko. Did they see her stay in the shop? What did Sicko see? They got cameras that work. What did Sicko see? Somebody either covering up information or just want to throw the case up on the bus.
That are hers based on the picture that the OIC received from her brother, and those items were collected. The black hoodie and pink jumpsuit were tested, and
Sorry, I'm just thinking. It's weird. This is weird.
Breon Green testified as to which swabs were which. This analysis here and hypothesis and results pertains to the right shoulder swab on Naziyah Harris's black hoodie that she took that picture in when she was in school on January 9th. The one, importantly, that Annette Harris testified was in good condition when Naziyah left. We will get to pictures of that, but this shows that Naziyah Harris's DNA is there as well as Jarvis. And importantly, this is one of the stain swabs that was positive, not just for blood, but human blood based on the hematries.
So Jarvis. Okay, y'all, let's say like if she was hiding in the car, if he did tell her to stay low, lay down on the seat, don't sit up for nothing, somebody still would have said, cheering her head, they would have set up. Okay, I'm just saying now. Okay. When he left the hotel, what he go in there to do? Then he came out because he sure didn't stand there long. Is she in the car? So when he left the hotel, what was he doing to Naziyah for 2 hours out of 7 birds? What happened at the point? Why is he outside in the cold with her? testing and experimenting with the stuff that they said, with the things that they said that he was on the computer looking up. Why he go outside over there? Why is he outside doing it? Because he don't want to get no DNA on nothing. But why would he leave? Also, why would he leave his DNA with her DNA in the woods to be found? we got it. It's bad that these days we got to believe that things like that do happen. Why would he leave his DNA in the woods with or her his DNA and her DNA out there in the woods, y'all, knowing that it can be found? Is he getting set up? Did he leave the phone in the car and get in another car? What happened, y'all? To even think to go in the woods and have her out there in the cold drinking antifreeze. So what happened at the time? He had to have a stop in between before he got to 7 miles. And then you talking about human blood DNA on his and her DNA. So you trying to get caught? He trying to get caught? Think about it, y'all. Who had the blue car? On the 10th and the 9th. Because I believe she was somewhere. She was alive on the 9th and stuff, and going into the 10th, they still were trying to get rid of what she, because she was pregnant. And they couldn't get rid of her, so they got rid of her. This almost to me like Blair Witch. But the thing is, that don't make sense. Who punishing who? Okay, for what job is did to her? Who is out there knocking him upside his head, popping him on the back of his neck? Who out there? Who with him? Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna try to get away with murder, and then I left my murder. I left my DNA out there with her DNA in the woods. Jealousy. It sounds like somebody jealous. Saying him up. Okay, since we can't punish, since we are gonna punish her, we're gonna punish you too. We're gonna make them lock you up. Because it's your fault, Jarvis. Allegedly, y'all.
In the next one, we have this pertains to not the stain swab, the regular swab that Rion Green testified was a wearer ID swab. Importantly here, Jarvis Butts' DNA from that swab that would have been taken around the neck of that sweater or the end of the arms of that sweater is.
So you saying Jarvis can't wear Naziyah's clothes, but Naziyah can wear Jarvis' clothes. Jarvis can't put his arm in that. That girl is 4 feet something. I can't even put my arm in Naziyah Harris' sweater, hoodie. I can't even put my arm. I can't even put her hoodie on. And they talking about in the arm of the sweater? How? That's impossible. Only way his DNA can get on that hoodie is he had to cut himself or something like that. Uh, uh, but in the arm of the sweat, that don't sound right, y'all. This is some whew, Jesus. If he wanted her to take the hoodie out, he'll say, take out that hoodie. This don't even sound right.
There with very strong support, and of course, Naziyah's DNA is there as well. And when we look at that sweater, specifically through the PowerPoint photos that Rion Green took and put together, we can see that there is a lot of markings on this. If the court looks closely on this, and I did, there are 15 phenol positive stain markings on this sweater. This is just the front of that sweater.
She marked that sweater like that, prosecutor. Miss Green marked this. She told y'all she side marked all over the sweater, but some of this stuff on the sweater on that hoodie was negative. Some of that stuff wasn't positive. Some of that stuff on it, she marked the sweater, but she couldn't find a lot of stuff. But he trying to make like he found a lot on that that hoodie. Somebody did that hoodie like that, y'all. To me, I don't know this yet. I ain't no psychic or nothing like that. My vision tell me somebody did that hoodie like that. Somebody punched holes in that hoodie. And this ain't about the head. This is about the body. This is about the stomach. See, it may sound weird what I'm saying, but I'm telling y'all, it don't make sense. Why is it cut on the top of the sweater? And what we supposed to be focused on the stomach. And all that drawing on there, Miss Green did that. She did that. She said she did it. In the front and the back. But she couldn't find something.
And of course, the court paid attention and saw the markings or the damage to the hood, that it is the people's theory would have been stab wounds or something to that effect that happened when Jarvis Butts murdered Naziyah Harris. We also have to look, and it goes to the premeditation element as well as everything he did before, at Jarvis Butts' actions, specifically what he did to attempt to conceal or cover up his role in the murder.
How could Jarvis sit there and look at the screen, at the stream yard, like that? How could he just be sitting over there? Let me see. See, look, how could he? Hold up. Look how he looking at. Look how he looking at the stream yard, y'all. Look at it. Look. He looking up. What is he thinking about? I like to get in the mind of a criminal. What is he thinking about looking up there? It's nowhere he's shaking his head, said, man. Like, when somebody putting something on you, you'll be like, shaking your head like, man, ain't do that, man. Ain't, shaking your head. But he's so like we looking at a video, a cartoon. This is real life. And he looking like, wait, y'all, let me put it back right here. Let me put it right here. This is why I stopped it right here.
The next one, we have, this pertains to not the stain swabs, but the regular swab that Rion Green testified was a wearer ID swab. Importantly here, Jarvis Butts' DNA from that swab that would have been taken around the neck of that sweater, or the end of the arms of that sweater, is there with very strong support, and of course, Naziyah's DNA is there as well. And when we look at that sweater specifically through the PowerPoint photos that John Green took and put together, we can see that there is a lot of markings on this. If the court looks closely on this, and I did, there are 15 phenol-positive stain markings on this sweater. This is just the front of that sweater. And of course, the court paid attention and saw the markings or the damage to the hood that it is the people's theory would have been stab wounds or something to that effect that happened when Jarvis Butts murdered Naziyah Harris. We also have to look, and it goes to the premeditation element as well as everything he did before, at Jarvis Butts' actions, specifically what he did to attempt to conceal or cover up his role in the murder of Naziyah Harris. First, we have the glasses that he made sure he grabbed directly from Teresa Johnson's hands.
He didn't even cover nothing up. He didn't cover nothing up. He showed y'all what he did. I wanted anybody to come up to that shop, but then he lets her go somewhere. Well, where was she staying? Y'all, he didn't cover nothing up. He, in this case, then he want to get caught. He ain't covered nothing up. She was sitting in the truck, and the world saw her. He drove her over there and on the other side of town. The world saw her. Came back to the shop. Cordell and the sister saw her. Went to the hotel. It should show some. And if he went from the hotel to 7 Miles, if he put the clothes out there like that, he didn't hide nothing. So mentally, something going on here. I'm going to figure it out.
That are consistent with the glasses she had in the photo from the 9th when she was in school. We have the jail call to Cordell Wright to get that phone of his out of Miss Davis's car and into someone else's possession.
See, when they start speaking on Cordell, look at Jarvis, y'all. Look at his head. Watch he pop his head up real quick. Wait, let me see. Wait, not right now. Not right now. Watch this. Watch this.
Grabbed directly from Teresa Johnson's hands when shown that are consistent with the glasses she had
Watch
in the
this.
photo from the 9th when she was in school. We have the jail call to Cordell Wright to get that phone of his out of.
You see? he paying attention to that part. Now he remember he gonna try it like he was high. But shoot, I ain't mean to say that, but he tried it like, so, you know, he was feeling good. But he paying the situation with him and Cordell attention real good. I wish they would put the man, I don't forget that man. I don't try to remember these people's names. The man who owned the old shop. I wish he was in this. I wish they would call him to the stand. I don't know why he just popped through my mind.
Miss Davis's car and into someone else's possession, which he testified he tried to do, but was ultimately unsuccessful. And then Sergeant Jones testified that they ultimately did.
Said what? What you say?
Jarvis Butts' actions, specifically what he did to attempt to conceal or cover up his role in the murder of Naziyah Harris. First, we have the glasses that he made sure he grabbed directly from Teresa Johnson's hands when shown that are consistent with the glasses she had in the photo from the 9th when she was in school. We have the jail call to Cordell Wright to get that phone of his out of Miss Davis's car and into some.
Come on, y'all. 2 people. It's somebody else help him with it. Cause y'all, his phone is left in Miss Davis' truck. Who was driving the blue car? Think about it, y'all. They just told y'all the phone was in Miss Davis' car. Who was driving the blue car? That's why it's wrecked. He wouldn't have wrecked that girl car. He can drive. It's two. It's two. The phone in her truck and the glasses in the other car. Oh we. Mm-mm.
Someone else's possession, which he testified he tried to do, but was ultimately unsuccessful. And then Sergeant Jones testified that they ultimately did recover that phone from Miss Davis's car.
Think about it, y'all. She found the phone in Miss Davis' car. Two cars, two people. Whoo-wee. You ain't having hit, baby. I didn't have it. You ain't gonna have it. I ain't saying that. I should have said it.
There's the phone call to Latricia Johnson, which was played when she was testifying, saying to get
Mm. Mm. We'll forget when the auntie said, y'all got all the answers. Y'all figure it out.
touched, clean, to clean anything he touched, to get anything, don't drive her car, drive his mom's car, which is important because when you combine her testimony of when Jarvis Butts took her car, those two times on the 9th and 10th, and then either the next or that same day, it's important because
Hold on.
she had in the photo from the 9th when she was in school. We have the jail call to Cordell Wright to get that phone of his out of Miss Davis's car and into someone else's possession, which he testified he tried to do, but was ultimately unsuccessful. And then Sergeant Jones testified that they ultimately did recover that phone from Miss Davis's car. There's the phone call to Latricia Johnson, which was played when she was testifying, saying to get anything he touched clean, to clean anything.
Why would he tell her? Because he taking the DNA. He taking whoever that he want to make sure that the other person don't get caught, y'all. Jarvis was wanted to make sure that the person he's covering up from DNA is not nowhere in that car. That's what he doing. Whoever DNA in that car, they don't want to get caught. But she said she didn't wipe the car down. So what did the detective? Did they go out there and did they when that car right there should have been wiped down, fingerprinted, steering wheel fingerprint, seat fingerprint, the doors, back seat, front seat should have been fingerprinted. These people didn't work hard in this case, allegedly.
He touched to get anything, don't drive her car, drive his mom's car, which is important because when you combine her testimony of when Jarvis Butts took her car, those two times on the 9th and 10th, and then either the next day or that same day, it's important because that car is the car that he transported Naziyah Harris out to 7 Mile and Murder to either dump her body or to murder and then dump her body there. And we can go through all of the lies that Jarvis Butts told any detective or any officer that he testified to, but in highlighting those, he denies to Detective Mays that he was with Naziyah
He sure did lie now. I don't trust him now. I don't trust that gangster right here. I don't trust him. I don't trust Jarvis from ABC. Woo! He sure did lie. And he picked that girl up. Criminal justice.
Denies ever picking her up, denies to, even when confronted with the January 9th messages, he said that it wasn't him initially. Obviously, we heard in the subsequent interviews, specifically on June 1st with OIC, he came off of that. He told Shannon Harris that Naziyah texted him on the 9th. She says that he never did that. And we have some of their messages in the record as well. He denies going to a hotel and denies going to a hotel with them.
All because of the auntie. That's her baby daddy. All that girl is not here due to the fact of negligence. The grandmama in the family. Not the family, but the aunt. But anybody can change. How that make her feel? I ain't gonna bash her like that, but I'm just saying. But anybody can change. Jarvis show didn't change. He got worse.
Denies having any sort of sexual relationship with Naziyah, even though the text now messages completely prove that that is an absolute lie. We also have his motive. We know from Sergeant Jones that he was going to be going into custody supposedly on January 9th for until roughly December, I believe, is what Sergeant Jones testified to. We know that that date was adjourned because he said in his interview that he had a legal issue. He said it was out in Clinton Township, but I submit to this court that that's not the legal issue he was talking about. He was talking about the legal issue he would have had if Naziyah had been left alive. He had to make sure that when he was in custody that she was not going to give birth to any child of his. That's his motive in this case. That's why that's January 9th. The sentencing date was adjourned to February 7th so he could take care of that potential legal issue. He was being told consistently by Naziyah throughout the months that she might be pregnant, and then on 11/27, she says to him that it's hard to do this gym shit with this baby. Less than a week or 2 weeks later, he's searching on Google how to abort a
We could give Medusa a good hair day. Only divine
Oh,
taste
we
from
sure did. Can't do that, Jim. Hold on. Is someone using that man phone? Cause I don't think he that bright to wanna to be looking up this stuff. I think it's this a lady job to do. I think it's a lady job to do, y'all. I think a lady doing this.
baby or get an abortion, but how to do it at home. How to get rid of that without any medical professional or any responsible man.
But now that's the catch. If he was online looking to give her something to do at home, she didn't have to run away to be with him. I'm gonna say that again. If he was on the line looking for a home remedy, she didn't have to be with him. She didn't have to run away. So what made her run away? She ain't never ran away before. So if it's a home remedy, she could have did this at home. She didn't need Jarvis. She didn't need that. She didn't need to run away. This is telling you that someone knows, y'all. Someone knows this. And maybe she wasn't allowed to come back home. Think about it, y'all. These are home remedy stuff that he because remember she did a pregnancy test with her auntie. Okay, then the home remedy test could have been done at home. She didn't have to run away to be with Jarvis to do a home remedy. So who told her not to come home if she ain't never ran away from home before? Y'all, that's it. And the way her grandmother get on them and run a tight ship, she could have did all of this at home in the basement. She didn't have to run away to be with Jarvis, y'all. This is home remedy stuff. But since you're pregnant by him, you go be with him. And a woman go through a whole lot of trauma when she loses her baby behind some stuff like this, y'all.
Knowing about it, we clearly have that motive. And obviously, Judge, one of the big issues in this case is proving that Naziyah Harris is dead without having a body. On January 9th, she vanished off the face of the earth. There is absolutely no evidence after the 9th that she was alive, that she was sending messages to anyone. Her, again, legal guardian had not seen her since the 9th. No one else, officers, friends, family have seen her since the 9th. There's no social media post reviewed by any officer to this day that would indicate she was alive. There's no messages, no further messages.
See, they covered this up. They covered this up. Y'all know who they is. They covered this up. Who phone she was gonna use? I'm still gonna say this. Who phone she was gonna use? She don't have no form. How she gonna do that type of shit? She don't have her phone. Well, that's wrong, man. This is so wrong. All this is so wrong. Some people should be arrested behind this.
Now, after the 9th, there's a full and complete stop of any activity that would indicate she was alive. And Judge, I submit to this court that if that were the evidence that we had at this point, that would be enough at this point for a probable cause of determination to show that she is in fact deceased today. However, there is more than that. Her hoodie found at 7 Mile and Bird, which we just saw a photo of, has Jarvis Butts' DNA on it and Naziyah Harris' DNA on it, and it is covered in blood, indicating that something traumatic happened to her. And all the other evidence shows that something traumatic happened to her at the hands of Jarvis Butts. And then we go back to his motive. Was told by Naziyah that she was pregnant, searched all of the home abortion procedures, and was going to go into the Rainbow jail until December, which we just passed, of 2024. Judge, I submit to this court that the evidence that you have heard over the last 4 days proves not only that Naziyah Harris is currently deceased, but also that she was murdered by the defendant, who had plenty of motive to do so, had plenty of opportunity to do so, and he did that. And I will note that the defendant in this case, Jarvis Butts, does not get a break because he successfully hid her body. The evidence to a probable cause determination, which the question is she...
See, Jarvis thought he was gonna get away with murder. Jarvis thought he was gonna get away with this. Jarvis thought he was gonna get away with some stuff, cause he always get away with stuff. Now he don't put himself in the hot seat. and thought he was gonna go to jail at first, y'all, for life, and got set up because everything he did to her could have been happened at home. It could have been a home remedy. They do everything else at home. They do everything else happen at home. The home remedy test could happen at home. It's a probable cause, but I'm saying that it's more than just him.
Probably dead, and did the defendant probably do that? Both questions are answered with a yes, based on all of the evidence that you have seen. I would reserve any further argument for rebuttal. Thank you.
All right, then. Good job, bro. Good job. Good job. You did your thing. Hold on. Hold on.
I know how well aware the court is that we have a very serious task here. We've been here for 4 days, and at this point, we have to look critically at what we've heard and what we've seen over the last 4 days and determine if there's enough evidence by a probable cause standard that Mr. Butts committed premeditated first-degree murder. And if you look critically at what the evidence is and the lack of connection between these pieces of alleged evidence, there is not even by probable cause standard. To bind over on premeditated first-degree murder, there has to be sufficient facts or evidence to show by a probable cause standard that each of the elements of premeditated murder in the first degree were committed. First, there's got to be a death.
Well, defense, Lord. I know you got to do your job. I know you got to protect your clients. There are probable cause right here. There is plenty of probable cause because he had Naziyah. So I see that part.
Evidence of the death, that the defendant caused the death of the deceased.
That they don't have, that he caused the death of her, of the deceased. Now you're right about that part.
He made or did cause that person's death. That there was an intent to kill, that the intent to kill was premeditated, and that it was deliberate. And here there is not enough evidence, even by a probable cause standard, that Jarvis Butts caused the death of Naziyah Harris. There's been no testimony of any eyewitness stating that they saw Jarvis Butts doing any act that could have caused Naziyah Harris's death. There's been no testimony of any eyewitness that they saw Jarvis Butts doing anything in preparation of doing something that could have caused.
Well, the witness is that she right. I don't understand that the witnesses that the prosecutor should have went at some more witnesses. They did good with those 3, but they didn't have enough information. They rushed, whoever gave them this case put pressure on them. But they should have had some more witnesses. But they probably didn't want to, have nothing to do with it. Because the witnesses that he has, they love J-Bo. They love J-Bo. So she got the prosecutor found witnesses that love J-Bo.
And there's been no admission of Mr. Butts to support that element. There's not probable cause to believe that Mr. Butts had an intent to kill Naziyah Harris, nor that he premeditated her death. There's no evidence of any threats made by Mr. Butts to Naziyah. There's no evidence of any threats made to a third party that he was going to do something or that he had a problem that he had to take care of. The issue or the statement was he had a legal matter. And Ms. Davis testified that she was aware of the issue that he had in Clinton Township, and that she was the one that was driving him around to court. There's no testimony that he took any specific action in a deliberation to kill her, or that in killing her. There's Google searches about legal ways to abort a child, not how to kill somebody or dispose of a body.
True.
There's no evidence that he did anything related to the Google searches. There's no receipts of purchases or anything like that. And these text messages were 2 weeks after.
I believe somebody, that person, like I said earlier, said we can't get rid of her that way. We're gonna get rid of her this way. Like here, I'm probate.
They were believed.
I'm sorry.
They were believed December 9th and 10th, which was, I believe, 2 weeks or 13 days from 11/27/23, which is the text message about gym class. And then there's this kind of cryptic text message in between that says, it healed. We don't know what that means, but we don't know what Mr. Butts took that to mean. It doesn't necessarily mean that he believed she was pregnant. There's no evidence of pregnancy. We have medical records until, I believe it's October.
See, that would trip me out. Y'all hear that part what she said right here. See, when Naziyah told him it healed, she texted him and said, it's healed. Did the auntie say Naziyah took a pregnancy test in court? Did she say that she took a pregnancy test in court? That Naziyah took one in court? To make us think that she was pregnant? Because I don't think Naziyah want no more than about 3 weeks, 4 weeks pregnant, 5 weeks. I don't understand why she couldn't do no PE. I just can't understand why she can't do gym. Because, y'all know how babies are. You're not that big. And I didn't show them till I got by like 8 months. I was skinny. But for her to say, I can't do these, gym getting hard for me, is telling me that she was about 4 months. That's the way Naziyah talked. Because if she was in her early stage, she wouldn't have no hard time doing no exercise in PE. Because in PE, you're running around, so that's very healthy for you. But when she said, "Oh, this PE the gym getting too hard for me," it's saying that she's about 4 months or 5 months, 4 months, and it became complicated for her. Cause we don't do no but exercise and we do like volleyball and stuff. We do games and stuff like that. But I don't understand how gym became hard for her. It had to come complicated for her because she was 4 to 5 months. But early weeks, it shouldn't have became complicated to her. So this tells me that either she was 4 or 5 months. And he knows you can have a baby in 6 months.
the text message about gym class. And then there's this kind of cryptic text message in between that says it healed. We don't know what that means, but we don't know what Mr. Butts took that to mean.
What she mean by it healed? What did Naziyah mean by this part right here, y'all? Hold on.
Which is the text message about gym class. And then there's this kind of cryptic text message in between that says it healed.
What it healed? What healed? If she talk about the pain went away because she's a young girl, she never been pregnant before, so she don't know how it is. You know, y'all, when we first get pregnant, we don't know what's going on with our body. We ain't never had no baby before. We don't know what with the pain. She said it healed. What healed? Wow.
We don't know what that means, but we don't know what Mr. Butts took that to mean. It doesn't necessarily mean that he believed she was pregnant. There's no evidence of a pregnancy. We have medical records until, I believe it's October of 2023, that...
Well, why Shannon? They wouldn't listen, y'all. Why didn't she bring up the pregnancy in court? She told her cousin that I did a pregnancy and it was blurry. Why if she was pregnant, why she didn't bring that up in court? Y'all see what I mean? That is true. How we know she was pregnant? Somebody playing games. She didn't bring it up to the prosecutor that my niece was pregnant. My niece told me I was pregnant because the prosecutor didn't bring that up.
She had a pregnancy, that she had been to the doctor in September when she originally texts or messages Mr. Butts and says she thinks that she's pregnant. There's no evidence of a pregnancy. She went to the doctor. We heard from both her guardian, her grandmother, and her aunt, Shannon Harris, who lived with her. No testimony from either of them that they suspected that she was pregnant, that there was any medical issues that they had to take care of because that would have caused them to think that she was pregnant. There was an insinuation, well, was she wearing baggy clothing? Was she wearing bigger clothing? There was no testimony that they had to go out and buy new clothes for her because her clothes didn't fit, or that she started wearing baggy clothing. She was wearing denim pants on the day that she disappeared, and there's no testimony that those were not pants that she had recently bought because she didn't fit into the clothing that she previously had. There's no evidence of any kind of plan. There's no messaging between Mr. Butts and Ms. Harris that indicates an escalation of animosity between the two of them. In fact, he essentially kind of starts to disengage. And so there's no written evidence that he had any kind of plan or any animosity toward her at that point. Our submission would be that he understood at that point that she wasn't pregnant and was disengaging. Let's talk about what we did see. So we know that Naziyah got on her school bus around 2:45 on the 9th. She got off the bus a few minutes later, and then she was seen walking up Bedford. She was wearing at that point light colored blue jeans, a black hoodie, and then a colorful coat with fur around the hood. There's some insinuation that somehow there was a plan that she would meet up with Mr. Butts, but the testimony of Mr. Wright was that they were
Oh, Lord.
divine taste from the Greek gods. Was that they were driving around that afternoon, back and forth to various auto parts stores, and I believe that they, in fact, had to go back issue. And so to say that somehow Mr. Butts would have known that she would have been on that street at that specific time and that they wouldn't have been there at that specific time is quite a leap, considering they didn't know where they were going to be when, because they were doing all this driving around back and forth to various stores. Witnesses put Naziyah at Mr. Butts' auto shop later that afternoon, and then in Ypsilanti with Mr. Butts and Cordell Wright, and Mr. Wright puts her back at the shop later that evening. But then we hear from Sergeant O'Rourke, who did all the cell phone mapping, that at 9 p.m., Mr. Butts was actually at 13662 Wilshire, which is his home, where Angel Leonard lives, and where they have kids. So did Naziyah go back with him to that house?
Whoa! Y'all up a bit. Hush, Camper. I'm gonna bad that up. Y'all hear that? Y'all been trying to figure out where was Naziyah. Listen to what she's saying. Oh, wow. Whoa. That's God. Was Naziyah over to his? I asked that question.
Let's talk about what we did see. So we know that Naziyah got on her school bus around 2:45 on the 9th. She got off the bus a few minutes later, and then she was seen walking up Bedford. She was wearing at that point light color blue jeans, a black hoodie, and then a colorful coat with fur around the hood. There's some insinuation that somehow there was a plan that she would meet up with Mr. Butts, but the testimony of Mr. Wright was that they were driving around that afternoon, back and forth to various auto parts stores, and I believe that they in fact had to go back to one kind of unplanned because they either missed something or there was an issue. And so to say that somehow Mr. Butts would have known that she would have been on that street at that specific time and that they wouldn't have been there at that specific time is quite a leap, considering they didn't know where they were going to be when, because they were doing all this driving around back and forth to various stores. Witnesses put Naziyah at Mr. Butts' auto shop later that afternoon, and then in Ypsilanti with Mr. Butts and Cordell Wright, and Mr. Wright puts her back at the shop later that evening. But then we hear from Sergeant O'Rourke, who did all the cell phone mapping, that at 9 p.m., Mr. Butts was actually at 13662 Wilshire, which is his home, where Angel Leonard lives.
Wow, Angel, we need you to testify. They need to subpoena that girl to testify, y'all. We need that girl to testify. We missing. Let me tell y'all something. We missing that girl. Boy, she need to take that stand. That Angel girl need to take that stand. Because Cordell seen Naziyah at 9 o'clock. That's why I asked y'all, where was Naziyah from 9 to 9:30? Because he went to, when he left there, he can't do nothing to her that quick. So he must have dropped her off and allegedly dropped her off at Angel House and went to Parkcrest thinking about meditating about what he gonna do, premeditating about what's going on. Now, what happened at Angel House? Because that's where the map said that he was at Wilshire. Think about it, y'all. I want y'all to think about that. Think about it. At 9 o'clock, that's where he was. He was over Angel House. Wow. So he did go home.
It's quite a leap, considering they didn't know where they were going to be when, because they were doing all this driving around back and forth to various stores. Witnesses put Naziyah at Mr. Butts' auto shop later that afternoon, and then in Ypsilanti with Mr. Butts and Cordell Wright, and Mr. Wright puts her back at the shop later that evening. But then we hear from Sergeant O'Rourke, who did all the cell phone mapping, that at 9 p.m., Mr. Butts was actually at 13662 Wilshire, which is his home, where
Y'all work. That's what I said. That's right. So in those 30 minutes, I'm keep asking y'all what he would do, where he took her. He took her allegedly to his house. Then at 9:30, he went to Parkcrest. And since everything is a home remedy, he did what he listen. But only thing, the phone information is not all in here in the preliminary to me. Because when he left Parkcrest, he went to 7 Miles. Did anybody come over to Angel House to pick Naziyah up? Boy.
Now, we don't know who was with him there, but there is no evidence that Naziyah was ever there. They searched it, they took DNA, they took clippings of various things, they swabbed the shower drain, and there's no evidence that she was ever in that room.
So they did check the shower drain. They did swipe the room. So he didn't take her in that room. He didn't leave her in that shop. So he had allegedly took her home to his house. Somebody could have came from his house to pick her up and met them at 7 Miles. He couldn't take Naziyah back home, y'all. If he take Naziyah back home, it's gonna mess the case up. It's not a missing case and it's not a runaway. Mm-mm.
We did hear testimony that the Parkcrest is a known place where Mr. Butts frequents and takes various lady friends for a rendezvous. It's much more possible and plausible that he took somebody, one of his lady friends there, than somebody who he was going to kill, right? He's going to a place where they know him. He's a
Right.
fire there. And is he going to take somebody there where he would later, before he was going to kill them? That makes no sense. That is
Right.
not logical. We heard then that after Mr. Butts left the Parkcrest Motel, he went to 4 Alexandrine, which is Midtown. So kind of across town. And that's where his other girlfriend, Machine Rushing, lived.
That's weird. Let me ask y'all something. Okay, hold up, something ain't right. If he had the girl had Naziyah at Angel House, when she asked him, why you driving, where's your car? Why you driving that girl car? Why are you driving that other woman's car? Did the girl over there on Alexandra did, why did he need, it's still, she stuck, if he was at Angel House, if she was at Angel House, oh, y'all, allegedly, when he took her home, somebody else picked Naziyah up from Angel House, allegedly. And something happened during that time using the home remedy. Or if they didn't use the home remedy, they got to get rid of Naziyah. So he didn't go back to Angel House because they met him at 7 Miles. But he went to the other girl house because he really didn't want to meet up with them at allegedly at 7 Miles. That's why I said, y'all, my spirit, I ain't no spiritual worker, saying that somebody else is involved in this. I'm serious. Because he never did go back to Angel House. So somebody had to come get her from Angel House and took her somewhere. And then did what they had to do and then met him out at 7 Miles. That's when he went and he didn't want no DNA in his car. So he went and got Angel car. Wow. Allegedly, though.
So did he take Naziyah with him there to see Miss Rushing? And he stays there for a while, I think, according to Sergeant O'Rourke's mapping.
He stayed over Alexandra for a while, but still, his phone. Then somebody came and got that girl allegedly from Angel House, Wilshire. Somebody came and got that girl allegedly from Wilshire. And met him out there at 7 miles. There's some creepy stuff going on. Because he sat over at Alexandra for a while, now he's scared. He's scared. Because he don't get... Wow.
I hear that he is at 7 Mile and Berg on January the 10th at 11:40 p.m. for over an hour. That's almost 24 hours from when he initially, it's beyond 24 hours from when he initially is with Naziyah, or when he's last with Naziyah. And so it's illogical to think that he was driving around with Naziyah, visiting all of his girlfriends, or if he had done something to her previously, that she was in the car with him while he did that. And in fact, they took a cadaver dog around the car and didn't find anything, and they tested the vehicles, all of his vehicles, every car that he drove, for DNA, for any sign that Naziyah had been in.
If they test their car, her glasses was in the car. If they test, no DNA is in the car, and the young lady didn't wipe the car down. Naziyah wasn't in that car. Naziyah was allegedly in somebody else's car. That's why I told y'all it's some more people involved in this. And why her glasses not in that? Now they don't mess up my testimony, because now I thought maybe Naziyah would have been driving the car. But if it's no DNA in the car, Naziyah wasn't driving the car. Why in the hecky decky her glasses is in the car? This is a weird case. And the coat is in the shop. With the pants in the shirt, the white shirt. It was cold that night, y'all. Them some cold nights.
Naziyah had been in there, and they found nothing. And the call to Miss Johnson asking her to wipe down the Sentra that she used, that he had borrowed, is kind of irrelevant, because she testified that she didn't do it. She did nothing based on what he called to say, and they still didn't. Nothing was found. We heard about a pink jumpsuit that was found. We didn't hear any testimony that anybody saw Naziyah wearing this pink jumpsuit. She's not seen wearing it in any video. I don't believe that anybody even identified it as being hers. I don't believe there was any testimony from either Annette Harris or Shannon Harris saying, yes, we recognize that pink jumpsuit. That's something that Naziyah wears. When did she have it?
That is true. Who pink outfit is that? Who pink onesie is that? Are we dealing with another a person, a girl, a young adult in this? It's a deal, a little skinny lady. What are we dealing with right here?
because she was afraid they were going to consume the sample. There was also no statistically significant support for finding Mr. Butt's DNA on that stain sample from the pink jumpsuit. And there was no statistically significant probability that his DNA was on the jumpsuit at all, that he had had any contact with the jumpsuit. And they took a lot of swabs of that jumpsuit. I believe the number was that forensic analyst Anderson testified to, that it was 24 trillion times more likely to have originated from two unrelated, unknown contributors than Jarvis Butts.
Wow. And he's sitting over there quiet. It's your fault. It's your fault, period.
And we heard about the black hoodie. And that black hoodie was significantly more weathered than the pink jumpsuit. We heard about that from the Border Patrol agent Barnes and other folks that came into contact with that sweatshirt, that it looked like it had been out in the weather much longer. And we don't have an explanation for that, but those appear to be tears in the top of the hood. They don't appear to be stab wounds, and they certainly don't appear to be bullet holes. There's weak support for conclusion that Mr. Butts was a contributor to the stain in the swabs of the black hoodie. The only real support for any DNA on the black hoodie was on the non-stained part. And there's testimony that Ms. Harris was wearing that hoodie on the 9th, that she was in Mr. Butts' Escalade when he and Mr. Wright picked her up after seeing her walking down Harbor, that they were in the car driving up to Ypsilanti. And so the possibility that his DNA got on this non-stained part of the black hoodie is not. Dallas.
Are you ready to find your next great tenant? Tired of seeing that for rent sign month after?
It's not evidence of premeditated murder in the context of all the ways that we heard somebody's DNA can get on a piece of clothing. And I kind of talked about this, but we heard testimony that Mr. Butts drove both a Cadillac Escalade and a Nissan Sentra on January 9th and January 10th. There's a lot of pieces of those cars that were tested. Trunk carpet from various areas in both cars. The driver's floor mat, the driver's seat, the door handle, trunk speakers, the trunk frame. All of those things were swabbed for blood, and nothing was found.
Of course, he ain't gonna have that in his car. He got a white Escalade.
We heard about a school ID card that belonged to Naziyah. We heard Valerie Smith testify that she noticed it at some point in February, maybe a month or so after Naziyah was last seen, and that she decided to pick it up 2.5 weeks after she first spotted it. But she was pretty clear that she only noticed it about 2.5 or about 2 weeks before, but that she looked at it every single day. Seemingly, if it had been there before then, she would have noticed it. When did it get there?
It's crazy. That is the truth. So you tell me that you've been watching that ID. When did the ID get there? I wonder what's the ID move. How did the ID get right there? Why is it not in her book bag?
No, there was no evidence. There's no testimony as to that. There was no other evidence found in the 7 Mile and Greenfield area, and there's no evidence that Mr. Butts was there. We talked a little bit about the medical records, but all they tell us is that Naziyah Harris didn't have a life-threatening condition as of October 24th. They don't tell us anything about her physical condition between the 24th and the 9th, and they don't tell us that she was pregnant. They're just not relevant, except for the fact, I guess, that they don't tell us that she was pregnant, and she was there on September the 27th, according to her text messages.
No, he shouldn't get him back. He's a felony. Nah, he shouldn't get that. No, I don't agree with that.
But certainly there was no DNA from Ms. Harris on them. And if one was to use a gun to bludgeon somebody enough where they break the skin and bleed, there's going to be DNA on that gun. If somebody is shot at close range by a gun, there's likely to be DNA on that gun. They found no DNA on a gun. There was initially testimony about all these knives that were found, and then when Mr. Riggins did a little bit of digging, well, one of them was a butter knife, one of them was rusted and under a seat. It looked like it had been there forever. There's only one knife that they were actually interested in. They sent it for testing, and there was nothing on it. And we know that they can test for blood even if something has been wiped clean, because they do that, and in fact, they did that in this case. They found no blood on anything that the prosecution is positing could have been a murder weapon. Motive is not an element of premeditated homicide. There's evidence that Mr. Butts and Naziyah had a sexual relationship. And we are, at this point, not contesting the bond over on those counts. That would explain why Mr. Butts would not want to be honest about why he was with Naziyah Harris. That would be enough to make somebody want to lie about their whereabouts or their connection to somebody. There's no evidence that it went any further than that. Again, no evidence that he had been confronted by anybody about a sexual assault. No evidence that he was being threatened by Naziyah to expose him or get him in trouble if he didn't do something that she wanted him to do. By the time January 9th rolled around, they weren't really speaking that much. She was, in those text messages that we heard, getting frustrated with him for ignoring her. But never once did she say, well, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to tell everybody what we've been doing. And so there's a complete lack of any motive for him to respond in that way. And I would point the court to a case, it's called People v. Fisher, and it's 193 Mishap 284. It's a 1992 case, and I've got copies. This court one. And I point the court to this case because it's a case where homicide was charged and no body was found. A woman named Joyce Fisher was killed, and I believe it was 8 years after her death, her husband convicted, and ultimately the appellate court reversed the conviction because the evidence was insufficient to submit the case to a jury, and so that was the error. And kind of the facts briefly are that Mr. and Mrs. Fisher were in the process of divorcing. It was a pretty contentious relationship. There had been lots of reports that he had been physically abusive to her, and she had even testified that he had threatened to kill her in mid-January of 1978, approximately 3 months before she disappeared. In April of 1978, apparently they were out together, they had lunch, and he was the last person to see her. After that, she disappeared. Now, there was no
But that's that case. That's another trial you talking about, not Jarvis Butts trial. It's Jarvis Butts trial and situation is totally different from Fisher, Mr. and Mrs. Fisher case. So I don't even know why she reading it.
Prosecutors presented lots of evidence of defendant's motive and opportunity to kill her, but noted that those are not elements of the crime. And inferences, the court says, may not be based on evidence that is uncertain or speculative or merely raises a conjecture or a possibility. And they said in that case, the evidence did not rise above the level of conjecture. And that's what we have here. We have conjecture. We have a lot of pieces of supposed evidence, but we have no connection. They don't connect to each other. They're puzzle pieces. When you put them together, there's no picture. There is no big picture because there is no act that can be testified to that Mr. Butts did, and there's nothing to support that act. There's no evidence that he had a gun and used it. There's no evidence that he had a knife and used it. In fact, the evidence that the prosecutor put forward disputes those theories. The idea that Mr. Butts was in some cover-up, the issue of his phone, I think was pretty well cleared up by Ms. Davis when she testified to the idea that for as long as she's known him, he's never wanted her to look at his phone. And mostly because he's been dealing with who knows how many other women. And that she had tried pretty much everything she could think of to get in that phone well before any of these allegations came about, and that she's never been able to. And so it makes sense that he would not want her to get in that phone, especially if he assumed he was coming home and wanted to have contact with her while he was serving his sentence in the Wayne County Jail. That she not know that she was not the only female that he was dealing with. We acknowledge that probable cause is a low standard, but it isn't just limited to whether the prosecution has presented significant or sufficient evidence on each element of the offense, which we submit they have not. They also must determine that there's a reasonable ground of suspicion supported by circumstances sufficiently strong to warrant a cautious person to believe the accused is guilty. That definition of probable cause, or that characterization, comes from People v. Carter, which is 250 Mishap 510. And so you have to have both elements of the crime met, and also those elements have to be met by evidence that is sufficiently strong to believe that it is relevant, that it actually proves what it is saying that it proves. And here we have conjecture, we have speculation, we have supposition, and we have somebody who he did have something to hide. But there's no evidence that he did anything about that. He didn't threaten her, he didn't ask her, or say if anybody finds out that, I will go to jail, or you could go to jail, or you could be hurt. There was nothing like that in any of those conversations that we saw. So, Your Honor, even by the relatively low standard of probable cause, we'd submit that there is insufficient evidence of both the idea that Mr. Butts did something to cause the death of Naziyah Harris, and that he when you feel a cold coming on, and that he intended to kill her, or that intent to kill was premeditated. We don't know what happened when she left his shop on January the 9th around 9 o'clock. But I think it's safe to say we know she didn't go to his house where Angel Leonard was, or Angel Leonard would probably be here in court and telling us what a weird interaction she had with him, and why it was strange that he wouldn't come inside the house, or why he wouldn't let her out in that car where he was. We don't have any evidence that she went with him to the Park Rest Motel. We don't have any evidence that they were together beyond 8:30, 9 o'clock on January the 9th. And for that, we're asking the court to divine over on...
Can I ask y'all something? Suppose he didn't do the murder, but he did everything else. We know that. Even the defense know that. Cause somebody else could have did the murder, y'all. And putting it on him. That what it sound like. But all of them need to go. He need to go to jail, not to get out, and they need it. The other people, jobbers need to be talking, but you don't care nothing about Naziyah.
Premeditated murder in the first degree.
I'm going to start with talking about people Fisher that is quick, just referenced. And it is important to note that this case is distinguishable for the following reasons. One, we're talking about a different standard. This was a trial issue, direct verdict standard, where the court is saying at trial beyond a reasonable doubt. First of all and foremost, it's distinguishable for that reason. Secondly, though, the court in Fisher said in this case there was no physical evidence such as bloodstains or a weapon linking the defendant to Joyce's death. In this case, we have bloodstains. We have bloodstains on the hoodie that was found at 7 Mile Bird.
And he is right. So that trial, what she's talking about, ain't got it's a whole total different trial. What Naziyah case, so the Fisher case ain't got nothing to do with. It's nothing near Naziyah's case. But good trial defense.
Secondly, though, Judge, having dealt with people being Fisher, Ms. Quick talked about the 9th and 10th, that no one saw the defendant with Naziyah for that day going into the 10th and into the 11th. However, we heard from one of his significant others or girlfriends that he was secret, that he didn't want anyone looking at his phone. And we certainly know that he knows how to keep different women and or girls away from each other. For example,
well, everybody, all of y'all like that. Y'all don't like for people to look at your phone. You like that.
Testified that she was familiar with an address of Outer Drive in Belfort, but she had no idea, other than the fact that she would pick the defendant up there at different times. We know through other testimony that the defendant was dating someone that lived there. And with respect to Ms. Quick saying that Naziyah never threatened him, never did anything, I'm not sure if this one text
Right.
This is a circumstantial case, and circumstantial evidence is sufficient for a bind over and conviction. Today is January 9th, 2025. Exactly 1 year, from the day Naziyah Harris disappeared. Before I get into the charges, and the main charge of premeditated first-degree murder, I have to speak on Naziyah Harris and the 20 children. And I've only presented with first evidence. I don't know the whole story. The attorney knows more than me. The family knows more than me. But from what I have heard over the last 4 days and 5 days total, is that several people failed her. I don't know where her mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love. I don't know where her father is. I don't have any mention of them in her life. She don't present. Two, Cordell, aka King, and all the men who saw Jarvis Butts hanging out and always around these young girls, including his wife, and her 9-year-old daughter going to the shop, picking up the shop. The school counselor who never showed up, or the person who was supposed to show up, if that counselor was absent, after Naziyah was on the floor on the day she went missing, saying that she needed to speak to a counselor. There's no mention of CPS, but I wonder what their involvement was over the years, because this was not just a 1-year thing. There are text messages and legal in 2022. To her adoptive grandmother, Annette Harris, testimony, in my opinion, was very questionable. I understand why the people put her on the stand to establish Naziyah's residence and the house on Bedford and the regular routine, to establish also that Naziyah was not a runaway child, that she was not a bad kid. I do believe she adopted Naziyah. I do believe that she had 6 kids in the house. I believe that Naziyah had on a dark hoodie the day she went missing, and that she had on red and black Nikes that day. What is hard to believe is that the defendant never came to the house that she testified. And there was also a minor that testified that he did as well. Text messages that show between him and Naziyah that he did in the basement, saying he was going to the shower, stealing her panties. He was always lurking around that house and asking for Shania and tonight, from what I know. I even thought about the breakfast routine. They say that all the kids like eating breakfast at school. Did they have a choice? I don't know. But to always send those girls up there to clean up the shop raises questions. And how were there 2 women in that house who have birthed children themselves did not notice that Naziyah was pregnant, not believe she was, and not having her period? But then after hearing text messages today, begging Jarvis for pads as if she didn't have anyone else given to her. And what stood out the most was when Annette Harris stood on the stand, and she learned around 6 p.m. that Naziyah did not come home from school, and said she looked around for her and decided to wait until the next morning to call the police. Without a tear, without emotion, or any expression of being devastated. And to her Aunt Shannon, who also showed no emotion, expression of being devastated from Naziyah going missing. She stated that she had friends help.
No emotions, y'all. No emotions means a lot in this case. 2 people she named that didn't have emotions. They don't have emotion about Naziyah.
Look for Naziyah, but was directed to just wait until the morning to call the police. A grown woman likely suspected something strange going on didn't feel the need to call the police either. They were both able to go to sleep at night without hearing from Naziyah or having any indication.
Wow, the judge said the same thing we've been saying. How can you go to sleep knowing that your niece missing or your grandbaby missing?
And of course, the defendant, while we get to the intermission,
That's what I'm looking at. How he acting. He 42 years old acting like that. My son is older than him. It ain't no use in you trying to cry. Stop that crying. Dry them tears out. Look at him trying to cry, y'all. But you better tell the truth, Job. You better, if you know anybody else got something to do with this case, you need to open up your mouth and unglue it. Because all of y'all need to go to jail.
I heard more and more testimony. You're just the true definition of a pedophile. Watching you laugh and brag about all the women you have with different women and the children, the girlfriends, and making babies to groom them and having them in your presence, cleaning up your shop. The little girls around you has landed you here today. You groomed Naziyah. You played mind games with her. We all heard that. You controlled her emotionally. She was exposed to so much at such a young age. The text messages between you were disgusting to hear.
He crying, y'all. He crying because he know he did wrong. He crying because he was wrong.
And to think that she had you saved in her phone and saved her life. Naziyah deserves so much more. And while I mentioned other people that failed her, Jarvis Butts, you were the monster in this whole picture. She did deserve love from her parents and everyone who was in her life.
He don't stop crying. He don't stop. He don't stop crying now.
She was neglected, and you took complete advantage of that. She wanted someone to love her, and she will never know what that feels like. Your children deserve more. As much as the defense counsel has raised count one, all that has done is raise the question of fact for the trial fact, which means that this will be for a jury or a judge here in third circuit. I pray for the healing of all the victims and young girls and possibly boys who have come into contact with you. As a community, we should look at this case as a prime example of how much work we have to do when it comes to protecting our children, and especially our black girls.
Yeah, what gonna happen here? Job is gonna do his time. He gonna do his time. And we gonna lock him up. He gonna do his time. Then he gonna be back out on the street. He gonna be back out. Look, I didn't see nobody in the chat. Hey, Alma. This baby will fit. You know, I did not see your text. This baby, let me put your message up there. I apologize. I didn't see you right there. I'm so into trying to solve this, trying to lock some more folks up. You said this baby was felt by the people who were supposed to help her. Yes. All of them. All of them need to go to jail. All of them. Not some of them. All of them. Yeah, I was looking at my thing right here, and it didn't even show y'all. It didn't show you in the chat. It showed you. I'm mad at them. But wow. He had some help, y'all. He is two. I'm gonna always say 3 people in this. I keep seeing 3 people. I don't know why Job is sitting over there trying to cry instead of telling what happened. Cause she ain't got them kids. Y'all, I hope y'all enjoy. I appreciate y'all watching it. You know, I appreciate the little crew I have. I appreciate the little crowd I got. Long weekend can figure this out. Yes. Yes. God, I ain't never seen nothing like this. Sinister like this. I never seen nothing like this. I never seen nothing sinister like this. And like I said, home remedy, all of this could have been done at home. She didn't have to go up to the shop, but she was told not to come home. Allegedly. That's why she didn't come home. When you get out that school bus, you going up there with y'all. Y'all gonna do y'all thing. But y'all, I love y'all. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching. And I'm out, y'all. I never forget this girl, this baby. And she messing with me. She wanted me to do this again. Because I picked up some stuff that I didn't pick up before. Girl, I mean, it's weird. Sign of the time we living in. It's weird. But you know what? You remember when it used to be, they ain't let nothing happen to the women and the children. Anytime, it didn't have to be you or me. Them men's protected the women and the children. But these days, y'all on y'all own. Ain't nobody protecting y'all no more, us no more. Nobody protecting the women and the children like they used to do years ago. This shouldn't even happen. I can imagine that, baby. What's going on? I just can't do my nieces and my nephew like that. I can't touch them. But ain't that like this never happened to me? What they are going through. They share the same man. They do this and they do that together. That's why I said I see two ladies and a man. Baby. All right, y'all. I'm about to go. I love y'all.